There have been a lot of Hollywood projects lately dramatizing the real stories of big entrepreneurs. I'm thinking The Social Network, The Dropout, We Crashed, etc. So that got me thinking, could we tie these separate titles together into a shared universe and track where they connect? Here's the Chaotic Founder cinematic universe. I'm going to start us back in the 1950s with The Founder, the story of Ray Kroc's takeover and expansion of McDonald's.
It's the name. That glorious name, McDonald's.
Then we hop over to Steve Jobs, the Aaron Sorkin drama, offering a peek into the founder's mind via 3 key launch events.
Don't worry about it.
What does Bill Gates have against me?
Then around the same time, we go over to The Wolf of Wall Street for Jordan Belfort's story. And here, mid-speech, we hear a familiar business, which is by now a household name.
Go get a job at McDonald's, because that's where you belong! Then
we enter the new millennium with The Social Network, the origin story of Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook. And at one point, Mark hears a speech from the same Bill Gates Steve was quoting, who also mentions Apple.
I said, okay, let's get basic.
Certainly.
This one's a bit different, but it's good context to have. And that's The Big Short, which shows us the collapse of the US housing market.
Wall Street took a good idea and turned it into fraud and stupidity that's on its way to decimating the world economy.
Then roughly around the same time, we have Molly's Game, which introduces us to the world of high-stakes celebrity poker. And here Molly mentions the housing crisis from The Big Short and also does it with an actor who was in that movie.
Built 7 houses, all of which are worth less than they were before you built them because the housing market is on a downward trajectory for the first time in the history of houses.
Also here we see just how ubiquitous Ray Kroc's business has now become.
I took your car when I wasn't
allowed to. Drove it into a McDonald.
And kids get punished for that, but they don't.
Did not say the McDonald's?
Also around the same time, we can drop into the story of how Elizabeth Holmes made an empire out of a broken machine. Holmes is of course obsessed with Steve Jobs. She dresses like him, stands in line for Apple products, and even hires his former workers. She also mentions meeting Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook, and then some of the Walgreens guys mention this new startup called Uber.
The economy is tanking. Uber Cab was valued last year.
What's Uber Cab?
I believe it's where it lets you pay for a cab on your phone. Right? Is that right?
That's right.
What is this? I could have thought of that.
And that leads us to Super Pumped with Travis Kalanick's rise and fall with Uber. Facebook's influence is here too, as he's called the next Zuckerberg, and Travis ultimately clashes with Steve Jobs' successor, Tim Cook.
One conclusion. Uber must go.
And then finally we land with We Crashed, the story of WeWork. Here, Adam Newman finds out about Kalanick's ousting from Uber on TV.
Now official, Travis Kalanick has resigned as CEO of Uber. 5 of the ride-hailing giant's biggest investors.
And this is a bit meta, but We Crashed is an Apple TV Plus original. So, I could of course include more, but I think these titles thread together in a very fascinating way that can make for a very fun binge watch.